The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
First Speaker Podcast coming to you here. I believe it's October 26, 2020. How you guys doing? Of course, this podcast you can find on iTunes, well, Apple Podcasts rather, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Podcasts, and we are now also on Amazon Music. Yeah. Well, that's kind of weird. Well, yeah. Who says yeah anymore? Or yeah, like James Hetfield. I don't know. Anyway, couple things I'll talk about today. Just a little impromptu show. I didn't really plan on doing this right now in a moment, but I have a couple minutes to get in here and talk the shit a little bit. What do we start first? So lately I've been, and that's lately. I just quite often. That's just pretty much every couple of years during election year. I have an obsession of like looking back at old like election night footage from different networks, CNN, MSNBC, well, NBC, and I guess MSNBC when they did 2008, but mostly like old school like 90s and 80s, 80s and 90s CNN footage of the election night and whatnot. So different than it is today. I don't know. I'm a nerd in this kind of stuff. We're 8 days away from the election. The polls, all the debates, all the hurdles have been crossed for both candidates. It's really nothing else left at this point now than to vote. My wife and I are planning on voting tomorrow. We were going to sneak out and vote today. We actually left work early today. I had a little issue with my wrist, a little carpal tunnel action going here, a possible carpal tunnel action going here. And my wife left early too as well. So we decided, we decided, let's go to see the library. So we're going to vote real quick. We went to the library, put the attendant vote, and there's a line wrapped around the library long, man. Long ass lines. Early voting is through the roof. It's funny because in every election I voted since 2000, I've only ever early voted once, and that was in 2012. That was the Obama-Romney battle, and we went to vote early, and we were in line for about 3 to 4 hours, or close to that. Every election other than that, including midterms that we voted on, the lines have been much shorter. We got in and out. In fact, there really wasn't much more line. We got in and out in about 15 minutes tops. So part of me wants to like not jinx this and just say, well, maybe we should wait election day and then go that day of. But I kind of want to get out of the way too. Also, I'm looking forward to election night next week. Because I'm a dork at this stuff. I say every 4 years, every 2 years. Because I'm even interested in the midterms and how that goes. I find myself as I gotten older, and obviously I voted in every election since 2000. But as I gotten older, really appreciating and really understanding how much of a voice that I have, my wife has, and people who do decide to do this thing every year and use their American privilege to go out and vote. Regardless of what party you are, which presidential candidate you prefer, and whatnot. Just the privilege to be able to have a voice, have an influence, and have a voice on our democracy. I think a lot of people take that for granted. I got a lot of friends of mine, some people in my family, I won't mention any names, who do not vote, who don't believe in voting. Which look, again, it's their right. But it's astounding to me that they don't take the opportunity to do that. I love, I could have done the mail-in, and I did actually order a mail-in ballot back in August, but I'm going to turn in my ballot this, tomorrow. I'm going to go in person and do it because there's something about going in person. Now, I initially got the mail-in ballot only because of the fact that I wasn't sure how things would be with COVID and whatnot, so you want to be prepared, but obviously we're not in any of the phases anymore. I think we're phase 3 now in Florida. We're pretty much open for business at this point. Obviously, you go outside, you wear your mask and all that. You do the protocol. Make sure you do the right thing. So I'm gonna go in tomorrow. My wife and I are gonna go tomorrow, day off, and vote. I'm looking forward to it. To doing it. I'm obviously a little bit nervous about how this is gonna go, and I mean, I don't have to really spill out who I'm voting for, obviously, for president and whatnot. But there's a lot of other things down ballot I'm interested in also too. Um, but um, I'm nervous, but I'm excited because I this is fun. You know, I love election night. I love being able to see the returns. I love watching CNN, watching John King. You know, John King and the board. I think I have to credit John King really for really spiking my. I've always been an American history nerd. Always been into politics, anyways, since I was a kid. But the details of election night and watching the returns come in per county, per state, per East Coast, middle, all that. John King really, and watching him do his work not the telestrator, but the board. It's great. I've actually gained a lot of knowledge about trends, voting trends in certain counties, I mean, some states and some whatnot. So I've been doing that, and so a lot of my knowledge when I talk on this podcast about trends, when I discussed last week about West Virginia and what they've been trending the last 2 decades of election cycles, and what it means for this election, seeing it's been cut in half. Trump's been cut in half based on the polling. I learned that because of watching John King and watching CNN and their coverage of the election throughout the years. It's something I really, really value. I really do value that. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to election night. I might, I was going to do a party. I wanted to do a party initially, but I don't think it's really safe to do that. Plus, my kids, when the first results come in at about 7 o'clock, my kids are probably getting ready to go to bed at that point, at least my youngest one. So there's no point in really tempting fate there, honestly. And it's a weeknight, obviously, too. School, although school's virtual, still for my oldest son, which by the way, we are now doing the second quarter of the school year at home as well, too. I actually consulted with my parents, my mother-in-law, my dad, my mom, and they all said that they if you can make it work at home still and it's been smooth so far, then do it. My son's used to it anyway. He was actually already on the fence of staying home anyway. He was a little worried about wearing a mask in school and whatnot. And because I'm truly lucky and blessed to have the jobs. My wife and I have the jobs we have, not because of the money, obviously, but also because of the flexibility it provides us. Being able to, not have to worry about, find somebody to watch them every day because for the most part, someone's home. someone's home watching it. If it's not me, it's her, or vice versa, or my mother-in-law. So, we're also valuing safety. The fact of the matter is, we got parents who are older, that are up there in age, not old, but obviously there's health risks and stuff too. And my son could be asymptomatic. Who knows? And we don't want to risk that, especially if we know we don't have to. So he's been for the most part been able to deal with the schooling in a way at home on virtual. We worked it out in a way where we got down to science now. And my dad said right now the priority shouldn't be socialization right now. Right now the priority should be safety. And he made a good point. And credit my father, by the way, too, for being bold about it, too. He wasn't one of those things where he'd say, no, you do something to do. No, he was pretty bold about it. I asked him his opinion. I told him give it to be as raw as possible. And he said, listen, if you need, if safety should be number one option. It's the reason why he's not traveling either, because the same reasons, health risks and whatnot. And my dad's a pretty healthy guy. My dad works out every day. He's in the gym. And even is still, cautious about this virus. As we get into the winter months, it's getting cold, and it doesn't get really cold in Florida much, but still, it won't be as hot for a few months. So we do expect a spike, and we're seeing numbers go up throughout the country. So yeah, it's time to take it seriously and continue to take it seriously. And so if the situation works out for us, and people envy where I'm at and my wife's at in terms of like being able to do this, why would we mess that up? So we'll keep them home. For at least another quarter, we'll evaluate again after the second quarter. I'll tell you what though, there's definitely a possibility that he may be home the rest of the year. Definitely a possibility. We'll see. But yeah, looking for election night. Looking forward to, watching the results come in and all that. CNN, and we'll have more election stuff on this podcast between now and the the election night, of course. So I actually scheduled to have my dad, I just mentioned, and my brother Eric for the first time on this podcast this week. previewing the election. 4 years ago, my dad came on the podcast the day before election, 2016, and he was pretty soundly in favor of Hillary Clinton, that she was going to win the election, and of course that didn't happen. He's pretty confident about Joe Biden winning, but we'll see how that works. How that works out. Obviously, I'm pretty confident about Joe Biden winning the election. Honestly, I'm very cautious. Obviously, the polls, and I trust the polls for the most part. Obviously, it's not perfect, but they've worked on this sampling of it and whatnot, and you can feel something. You feel something different this time around. There's a lot of even with COVID being around here, there's a lot of energy from people who are not, even the Trump people too, but especially people who are not for Trump, that are prioritizing voting, coming voting early. They're saying that the election, the projection for total votes this year is going to cross of 150 million people. That is about 30 million more than 30 million more people that voted. Close to 30 million people that voted in 2016. So that's a big deal. And typically when that happens, that favors Democrats, especially Democrats who stayed home in 2016 for whatever reason, whether it be the Bernie thing or, the hateable candidates, don't think Donald Trump's going to win. But now, again, the difference between 2016 and now is that we know and feel and know how it feels to be under a Donald Trump presidency. I'll also be honest with you, had COVID not hit here, and the handling of COVID, obviously, there's a lot of like very, very much of a polarizing topic. I'm convinced Donald Trump might have probably won the election, because he was. I mean, for the most part, there was some fatigue there, but I think the COVID coronavirus crisis has definitely changed this whole entire electorate. Certainly a lot of people I talk to, I work with that, that said that this. And this thing's a problem. A lot of older folks I talk to who voted for Trump 2016 have said that they are disgusted the way he's handled it. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting situation. A lot of friends of mine who don't like to follow the stuff like I do with the polls and all that. They get like, why worry about the polls? Why are you so concerned about the polls? Like, the polls don't lie for the most part. I mean, the polls weren't. Like, I'll say it again, the polls weren't wrong in 2016. They weren't wrong. They said Hillary Clinton would win by 3% of the vote, and she won by 2% of the vote. What the polls didn't account for, and they've now since figured it out, is that the swings in certain states, which they've now prioritized since then. You see a lot of pollsters now really prioritizing specific states: Florida, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Arizona, Texas, Georgia. Minnesota for a little while. So a lot of things are different now than it was 4 years ago. And I don't think pollsters want to really risk their company and their jobs not getting this correct. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll talk more about the election in the next couple of days. Probably another Mark Francois appearance on the podcast before then. Definitely my dad and my brother coming this week, hopefully, on this Thursday. Let's talk quick Hell in a Cell WWE. Hell in a Cell last night. This will be the abbreviated version, because if you want to hear my comprehensive thoughts, mine and my friends, Mike and Joe, on my other podcast, the Take the Rest of Podcast. It is up now. It's up there. We did actually, it's funny, we did a different kind of episode. We actually did a spin the wheel thing. We basically took eight topics and put on the board and let it pick randomly which topic we're going to do that. So we didn't have preconceived topics ready for the show. Luckily, Hell in a Cell recap was on the wheel rather, and it was picked. So thank God it was picked on that. So we'll review that. And I guess I gave the show last night an A-. I thought it was a really, really good show. Obviously, a couple matches didn't make any sense. Squash matches really, Bobby Lashley against was it Slapjack from Retribution didn't make any sense. That's more sort of carryover. I guess that's more like filler. The first match of the night, Roman Reigns against Jey Uso, was a really good match. Ending was weird. Ending was kind of weird. Roman Reigns, wins the I Quit match. Now the brothers Jimmy and Jay have to, pretty much worship him, I guess. What do we call it? Do his bidding. Weird ending to the match, because it wasn't even Jay. Jay actually didn't even. He said I quit, but it wasn't because of Jay, tapping out. It was actually Roman Reigns taking Jimmy after Jimmy came out to rescue his brother, and Roman Reigns had a little minute of like doubt, and then he takes Jimmy and puts him in the was it the guillotine thing it was, and Jay pretty much threw the white flag for the white towel for his brother. It was actually a really good match. Love the psychology of it. Love seeing the old head shrinkers, Sika, and Afa out there too, old school. Especially Sika. Seeing Sika out there. Every time I see Sika, I think of like the Saturday Night Main Event from like 1987, October 1987, where he's like chewing on the fake chicken. In his promo, up to his match against Hulk Hogan. Check it out. It's on 1987 October Saturday Night Main Event. It's up there. It's really good. I actually see guys. I always go back to that. It was him, Mr. Fuji, and whatnot. Another match, Elias and Jeff Hardy it wasn't a bad match. Glad Elias is a heel again. Really, really, much better of a heel than he's a babyface. Without question. What was the other cage match? Oh, Sasha Banks against Bayley. Sasha Banks wins the SmackDown Women's title. Phenomenal match, obviously. These girls, they know how to put on a show. Was as good as the match. Was as good as the NXT match back in 2015 at Brooklyn, NXT Brooklyn. I have to probably say maybe on par. I don't know if it's better, but it's probably on par. I guess this one is a little different because this was more of obviously it's a Hell in a Cell. There's a little more psychology involved. So I mean, you can't really compare the two matches. With that one was more of a regular match with no other extra stuff. This one was a Hell in a Cell match, blood feud, all that. So there's a lot more added to this feud. But those two put on a great match. Bayley deserves to be number one on the PWI Women's 100, obviously. By the way, we discussed that also on the podcast on Take 3 as well. But yeah, that was a phenomenal match. Five-star match. And honestly, the only reason this entire pay-per-view got a A- for me is because this match took it over the top. I argue this is a top 2 or 3 match of the year, honestly. And we had some really good matches this year, and that was definitely in the conversation top 2 or 3 match of the year. Bayley and Sasha, unbelievable. Bayley is supposedly going on a break. She's supposed to get married. So this works out great. I mean, I still prefer they would have actually done the, spread the angle out to Royal Rumble, kept Sasha off TV for a little while with the bad neck, have her come back around. Hell, even Survivor Series been fine. But I felt rushed. But maybe, again, if Bayley is getting married soon and things outside of the ring that she needs to take care of, obviously this makes more sense. And I don't think this is over. I think this feud is far from over. I think once Bayley gets back, if indeed these rumors are true about her going away, then, we can see this go into Mania next year. As I said, he had a squash match with, Bobby Lashley and Slapjack, whatever. Retribution. I don't know what they're doing that. It feels like Retribution is getting squashed. I don't know. It's weird. Something to talk about later on. Well, take through this podcast. We did another topic on that too as well. All the spoilers. All the spoilers are here. And of course the main event. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Randy Orton gets his 14th world title over Drew McIntyre. It was inevitable. There's no way in hell you're gonna beat Randy Orton 3 times. Three pay-per-views in a row. SummerSlam, Clash of Champions, and now this one. No way in hell. I thought Drew McIntyre's reign was really good. I don't think he really needs the belt. I hope he still has a chance at the belt. I hope he's not treated like Kofi Kingston was last year. Drew McIntyre is definitely a guy that deserves to be in the mix. We'll see where this title shot goes. Oh yeah, the Otis Miz match. I forgot that one. Miz got the Money in the Bank over Otis because Tucky turned on Otis during the match. The Miz is on the Money in the Bank, and there was a lot of rumors saying that maybe he'll cash in this last night. Obviously, didn't happen because Randy Orton won the title and whatever. But never experienced Randy Orton title reign in real time. So this is gonna be fun for me. We'll see how long this lasts. I don't actually see this one lasting a long time. Actually, I think Randy holds the belt maybe for about 2 months, maybe through Survivor Series. But I think he's a bridge to somebody else. I don't know who. I don't know. I think the Miz gets the belt at some point, probably between now and Royal Rumble. That I know. That I think. Whether it's off Randy or someone who beats Randy and then the person who beats Randy is still unconscious and the Miz comes in and cashes in. Who knows? But I said, all in all, good show. A- show for me. I enjoyed it. Watched it with my kids. They enjoyed it. It's fun to watch wrestling with my sons, especially my oldest one who's really into it. He's actually now into the weekly stuff. Like he follows it weekly, knows what's going on storyline wise and all that. A lot of fun. So All right. Before I go, couple of NFL takeaways from week number 7. Of course, in the books. Um, as we record this while the Rams and Bears are on, I don't really give a shit about that game tonight. To be honest with you. Couple of takeaways. Number 1, Tom Brady, 43 years old, still doing the damn thing. This Bucks team is sick. This Bucks team is going to be really good. It's going to be it's getting better week to week. They might be the best team in the NFC, honestly. Packers fans. Oh, Green Bay. Tampa just beat you last week. What the fuck you talking about? Tampa just beat y'all last week. What the fuck you talking about? But yeah, Tom Brady is the man. 43 years old, still balling. The GOAT, of course. The Falcons suck. The Falcons really suck. I heard about having Todd Gurley scoring. He shouldn't have scored and all that. Whatever. Detroit quietly 3-3. And I'll tell you, having 7 playoff spots now, having 3 wild cards is going to make things pretty interesting in both conferences this year. Not saying Detroit will get in the playoffs, but I'm just saying, a 3-3 team, a team that's around 500 can actually have a real shot at making the playoffs in this year. Who knows? Odell Beckham Jr. out for the year, despite the Browns' win against Cincinnati. Browns. I mean, we'll see how good. Now we'll definitely see how good Baker Mayfield is. Hit a nice throw in the end zone with 11 seconds to go to win the game against Cincinnati. But my parlay got fucked up yesterday too. I had a 14 parlay. Buffalo -10. Of course, they only won by 8 points. I had Atlanta -1. They lose the game outright. I don't know, man. Parlays are like betting parlays is like putting money on fire. But yet, here, my black ass will be here next week doing the same damn thing because parlays are fun. Parlays are fun. It keeps you in tune with the rest of the league. Also, are we sure the Pittsburgh Steelers are the best team in football, or at least the best team in the AFC? Now, granted, almost blew the game yesterday against Tennessee. I'm not gonna forget that. Tennessee's a good team, though. Tennessee's a really good team. But bang, my God, Steelers are fun. Steelers are good. Tomorrow's power rankings will probably reflect that. Dallas Cowboys. Holy shit. Holy shit. Shout out to my guy James Neese, of course, Cowboys fan. Yeah, sorry, buddy. Andy Dalton ain't working, man. I didn't think Andy Dalton was this bad. I thought Andy Dalton could hold the ship down. I was convinced Andy Dalton would hold the ship down. Like you're still in the NFC East. Without Dak. Damn. Sorry, man. Fuck. That was terrible. Lose to Washington. Not just that you lost to Washington. It's 25-3 bad. I'm seriously. It's fucking bad. It's horrible. What else here? Chiefs win. Nobody's surprised there. The Patriots are done. Oh my God, the Patriots. When's the last time you see a 2-4 Pats team? A Pats team with a losing record this late in the year. It was 4 into the year anyway. Tom Brady's probably laughing at Bill Belichick. I mean, someone tweeted me yesterday saying that because I said that I made a comment yesterday saying is it safe to say that Tom Brady is winning the quote unquote war against Belichick? And somebody said no. I want to hear the person's thoughts on that because I don't know how you could say he has not won the war, is not winning it right now currently when Tampa Bay right now is not only 5-2 and surging, they are probably the best team in the conference right now. Just saying. I know you can sit there and say that with a straight face. I don't know. I mean, obviously still ways to go, but I don't know. I don't agree with that assessment at all. But yeah, Cam Newton might be done. I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of myself because I was talking about Cam Newton being an MVP candidate like 2-3 weeks ago. Now all of a sudden he's fucking getting benched by Jarrett Stidham, and he might be in jeopardy. They're saying today that his job's going to be in jeopardy now. Like what? Crazy. Seattle got the first loss of the year. I missed the game last night because I was recording the podcast. I watched Hell in a Cell. But what a crazy game. Seattle losing to Arizona. My God, Arizona's good. The Cardinals are good. It's time to give some respect. Put some respect on their name. They are good. Kyler Murray's fucking great. Holy shit. Kyler Murray's great. 5'8". The guy's 5'8". He's my size. Not as big, of course. Not as chubby as me, but he's fucking good, man. They're now 5-2 now, I believe. 5-2. Unbelievable. They're gonna have to be in the power rankings as well. Remember once upon a time, everybody said that their coach wasn't gonna be good. he wasn't good enough. Yeah. So much we know about football. Green Bay still doing the thing. They can bounce back. What else here? Anything else stands out? No, that's about it. Another week of football, and lots of question marks. I'm a Giants fan, so it's nothing to look forward to. 1-6, we're shit. As I said on the last pod with Mark, we're gonna lose that game against Philadelphia. It's no surprise, and they did us that. So, anyway, I think I'm done. That's about 25 minutes of podcast time. So again, we're back. Got us a couple days, hopefully, and again, go out and vote. I don't care who you vote for. Just go out and vote. You know what I'm saying? Make your voice be heard. Not like one of those celebrities that say that. Vote, man. No, seriously, go vote. Use your American privilege to do so. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, go out and vote. So until then, signing off here. Next podcast. And by the way, I love my new mic. I actually did the whole episode with a mic in my hand. Felt kind of odd, but felt kind of good. Felt like I floated a lot today. So, again, on Twitter, EJChristian7, website, earnestly.net. Newsletter, which I'm going to get started this week. I keep saying that every week, but I will get it started. But I would like you guys to subscribe to it if you can. It's free. Just put your email at earnestlyspeaking.substack.com. There'll be an email thing there. I'm going to start doing weekly newsletters, with notepads and stuff I'm listening to, recommendations, all that kind of stuff. We're still working out the kinks, of course, but please subscribe to it when you get a chance, man. Really appreciate it. Love you guys. So until next podcast, like I said, go vote. Later.